Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to a Drop Your Baggage podcast update, ladies and gentlemen. And I am here with the goddess, Brandi Nelson, who came onto the show and released Hurt and Disappointment. But let you guys know, we released a whole lot more after the show as well. And she's been doing, well, I'm not going to tell you how she's been doing. She can do so herself. Brandi, how have you been doing?
Oh my goodness, Charles. I've been doing absolutely amazing. I have had so much growth in the last couple of weeks, just seeding in that mindfulness, diving deeper into my subconscious healing. And it has brought and manifested so many amazing things. And I've just really been seeding in my gratitude around this growth and this change. I think a lot of people underestimate the value of doing these sessions that can absolutely shift the trajectory of your life. And when you're open-minded and you're able to really listen and not just to the session, but to yourself, that mindfulness absolutely shifts your life. And I feel like I've really been experiencing that in the last couple of weeks and have really enjoyed this healing process, you know?
You were talking about earlier with last month being like, well, not you just had Hell Week, which is,
Right.
in November, but then like all of this month. Tell me how this Christmas season or this whole holiday season has been for you compared to years before.
I would say I literally genuinely had one of the best Christmas seasons I've ever had. And what I mean by that is I was surrounded by so much love. My in-laws ended up coming when my brother got snowed out in the Sierras. He couldn't come for Christmas and I was all bummed out. And my in-laws ended up coming for Christmas. And it was one of the best Christmases filled with so much love, so many memories. It was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed every day, every moment. I felt that joy of Christmas come back for me. Even getting through the tough week of just like all the memories around people I've lost or events, I really found myself being incredibly mindful of retraining my body around joy in those seasons. So the days that were tough days, I would spend with my daughter doing, Christmas things or crafting or whatever it may be that brought more joy. And I really felt that harmony in myself, that peace with myself. And Christmas was filled with so much more light than sadness or pain or those deep reminders. I felt a sense of like release. And I could say with confidence that that's one of the first years I've really felt that shift in myself.
Congratulations, yo. That's huge.
Yes. Thank you.
And with the Thanksgiving and your mom passing the day before and everything, I know it definitely had to bring up some emotions. But how was it this year?
I would say I had a lot more awareness around knowing that, oh, thank you, my sweet. My daughter's here. She hears me talking and she's like, I'm going to come in and sit with you. And I said, okay. She's brought me a whole spread of lunch here. So kids are the best. Honestly, I would say that when it comes to things that our children are involved in, this is why it was so important for me to go into a healing journey, because every year, one of the biggest things that someone had told me once was that the loss never goes away.
Yeah.
Okay. It becomes easier to deal with year over year. And so when it comes to things like my mother's memory or when she passed before Thanksgiving, I've been so mindful of spending that time with my child. And I don't necessarily have moments where my daughter doesn't see like my emotional self in that way if I'm processing something. But Thanksgiving, even this year, was spent with my in-laws. And something that I've really come to understand in this part of my healing is that I am absorbed by a family that absolutely unconditionally loves me. And my daughter gets to grow up in a space where she feels loved, seen, heard, and understood. And that means the world to me because my trauma isn't affecting my child. And my trauma is something that I deal with separately, or my emotional self is something that I've dealt with separately. And so my daughter's actually able to have the benefits of this healing journey as well. And I don't think enough parents talk about that and the value of their healing, that their children do not have to be affected the way that we were affected by our parents' unresolved. And so, yeah, it's really important to me to just seat in the gratitude of my healing because of that.
That's beautiful, yo. And like, I mean, you're so right about how we have that generational pain. It goes from generation to generation. So, whatever your grandmother went through and your mother went through, your mother was then only reacting the way that she could. She was,
Exactly.
hurt people. And we're all
Right.
doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. So it's that consciousness piece,
Right.
that consciousness piece that where we carry on the trauma in a subconscious way, but
Right.
also we were talking about earlier, or you were talking about earlier, the book called The Emotional Code, how it's also within our DNA. So
Yeah.
literally by changing our thoughts, we are changing what's going on in our DNA and carrying on
Exactly.
something different into the next generation.
Exactly. And I think it's so, so important to be in that mindfulness of healing. And again, taking the opportunities to do these types of sessions and release things off of your subconscious so that they don't carry on from generation to generation. And you become the generational growth by taking those steps to heal yourself, because you're not only healing yourself, but you're healing the pain of the past generations as well.
Beautiful, yo, beautiful. And like now you say that you're focusing now on these subconscious thoughts, because we
Right.
are the equivalent of what our subconscious mind is telling us, and the universe for that matter, the quantum field. So now
Right.
it's like you're doing even deeper work. So I'm so proud of you, yo. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you. And like,
Thank
just
you.
thank you for showing up for your divine appointment. One more thing, you talked about a piece that you had. Can you express to the audience like what that piece is like nowadays?
Yeah, I think when it comes to personal peace, what happens is the rumination reduces and you feel more connected to not just yourself, your authenticity, but
Mhm.
your purpose. And that peace that I feel is that the people who have hurt me do not harm me. And what I mean by that is, in the past, people that have hurt me have harmed me in my
Mhm.
subconscious almost daily in the rumination, longing for relationships or longing for love or longing for connection that just simply could not be. And one of the things that was released and brought peace was that, like you said, people operate at their own capacity. And that is something I've had to step back and say, I'm at peace with knowing that's not for me to absorb,
Mm.
and that I cannot shift somebody's thoughts or belief systems around me. All I can do is seat in my authenticity and to have peace with who I am as a person,
Mhm.
knowing that I lead with so much love and I do my best to lead with positive intent in all the things that I do. So that means that I should have that love and positive intent for myself as well. Um,
Amen.
and that takes self-preservation, and the peace that's come with that self-preservation in the awareness side
Mhm.
is not only gaining clarity on things that are not for me to absorb, but to really have that self-awareness to say, I am safe, stable, and I feel loved.
Mm.
And I have so much peace and gratitude for that, because, as you heard in the previous podcast, I've had a chaotic life. I can safely say and confidently say that my life is safe, stable, and full of love. And that has
Mm.
everything to do with the mindfulness that I've done around my healing and protecting myself with
Yeah.
self preservation, aligning myself in relationships with people who do unconditionally love me.
Mhm.
And that is absolutely possible. And the peace that comes from that, when the days are filled with joy instead of chaos or fear or negative feelings,
Mhm.
that is peaceful. That
Yeah.
you can have holidays filled with joy and memories, not chaos and disruption.
Mhm.
That is peace. And so for anyone that wants that kind of peace in their life, it absolutely has to come from you first. You cannot expect anyone else in your life to bring the resolve the way that you can bring resolve to yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that has everything to do with the healing that we do, not only in our subconscious, but in our consciousness as well. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. You are such a goddess. And just
Thank you.
thank you for blessing us to being on the podcast and with your wisdom and just with who you are and all the people that you are blessing to as well, from Danae to Marissa. I mean, everybody, Dr. J, Dr. Janet.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Such amazing people.
Oh my gosh. Once again, thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment and allowing me to be a blessing.
Thank you so much, Charles, for helping me and for having me as a part of this journey. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you all for listening out there. I really appreciate your your attention and your support. And I love each and every one of you guys out there. If you like this, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're on the podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. Till next time on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. This is Brandi Nelson. I am your host, Charles Woolfork, the self-talk engineer. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.